The thing that's so important that a lot of people just don't realize is the impact of the garbage that they say and do. Maybe in your whole life, you've never said a racist word to anybody. And so you decide to let one slip. The problem is, you said it to me. Maybe your cousin has never said or done a racist thing in their lives. And yet, the one time they do say something, they're saying it to me. Some bar patron is walking around, never said a racist thing in their lives. But when they do, they say it to me. Cute person at a coffee shop, walking around, never question anybody's gender a day in their lives, and the first time they do, they say it to me. A random girl, random guy, random person walking down the street or standing in a bar decides to say some transphobic thing. Guess who it always get aimed at? How many black transgender American immigrants do you think there are in Molda? Just black people in general, there aren't that many. So if you say something racist, it's hitting one of the only black people in town. If you say something transphobic, it's hitting one of the only trans people, especially trans people that actually go out in town. If you say something stupid, in all likelihood, it's going to me. You cannot be blind to this stuff. It may only ever happen once when you're around. And maybe out of 30 years of your life, 40 years of your life, 70 years of your life, you've never heard anybody say anything racist. But they only say that when I'm around. Me or some other black person, those things only come out when they're around us. The transphobia that people have, it only comes out when I'm around. When I show my existence to the world. That's when people show their transphobia. You don't get to see it because you're not trans. They're not going to say anything like that to you. They might not even realize they're thinking it. They only start thinking it when I come around. But guess who's around every time I'm around? Me. I'm always around when I'm around, which means that when every one of these people says the only racist thing they've ever said in their lives, they all said it to me. When each and every last person says the only transphobic thing they've ever said in their lives, they all said it to me. Of course, you don't think anybody's racist or transphobic. They don't say any of that around you. They only say it to me, but they all say it to me. So how about you stop trying to pretend that you're innocent and actually face your biases? Because regardless how much you might want to pretend that they don't exist, they all hit me. So maybe you live in some town with 30,000 nice people who have never said a bad thing to anybody in their whole lives. But I live in a town of 30,000 people who seem like every last one of them can't wait to say the most awful thing they can think of. That's where I live. I would love to see the Molda that you exist in. Because it's not like that for me. Maybe the people that you think that you've been around your whole life have all been nice all the time. But if y'all don't start facing your biases, it's going to continue to be the case that the first time anybody says anything mean, they're going to say it to me. And people saying mean things to me and around me and about me is the only experience I have ever had in my 42, 43, almost 44 years. It's the only world I've ever known. I'm sorry to tell you, there are a lot of racist people here. You don't know it because you don't see it, because they don't show it until I'm around. And then you defend it. I've got 30,000 people surrounding me. And I do not know if out of any of them, which one is going to say something stupid next. And in all likelihood, it's going to be some person that all 29,999 other people think is nice. Because, of course, they're nice. They're nice to you. They ain't nice to me. not on purpose. It's very often, so often, the first mean, racist, xenophobic, transphobic thing that a person has said in their whole lives, they say to me. I need you to get this stuff out of your head. I need you to get it out of your thoughts. Because while it may only be one single thought to you, is the only thought that anybody ever shows me. You think it's limiting to not be able to say whatever you might be thinking, to not be able to ask whatever you might want to ask? You think that limits your speech? It's the only speech that I hear. I go out to a bar, I am almost guaranteed 50% of my conversations are about my gender. People don't want to ask me about my books. People don't want to talk about my history, my career, my love life. They don't want to talk about my kids. They don't want to talk about barely anything that has to do with my life other than my gender and my skin color. You don't think that happens because it doesn't happen to you. But it's all that happens to me. It has an impact because 30,000 little tiny impacts is one gigantic impact. So yeah, I'm going to need you to put those limits on and not say that stupid transphobic crap that you're thinking. I'm going to need you to put those limits on and stop being so racist, even if you think it's only a tiny little bit, because that tiny little bit hits me. And that, multiplied by 30,000, is not little. Oh yeah, one more thing. If you try to say, it's not everybody, if you try to hit me with that excuse, then you're literally showing me hate. Because you're making excuses for people that do some of the worst things in my life and trying to limit me from telling people not to do it by saying it's not everybody. It doesn't matter that it's not everybody. It shouldn't be anybody.